So, week 58, we went from Grand Case. We went back to Marigot Bay on St. Martin.
Yep. And then we got to church. It was cool.
You guys went to the Dutch side first.
Dutch side, yeah, it was on the Dutch side. So it's a good ways. It's kind of a long way to go, but it was good. Got there, then came home.
And then once you guys got back, we went on a hike.
That's kind of a chronic thing that we didn't think about, maybe, is getting off the boat is really important for crew morale. So, yeah, we got off the boat. We went to this Fort Louis. And that was really beautiful. Kind of a sunset, golden hour, looking over the bay, all the boats in Marigot Bay. Just a really cool vantage point. The kids were playing on the cannons. There's cannons around there, and it was a good time.
It was a nice...
Running up and down the hill, and good time to get out.
It was good. And then we just kind of prepped on Monday to leave. We left St. Martin on Tuesday and headed to London. It was a fine passage.
Yeah, to the Saints.
Loved the Saints.
Got there.
And it was just amazing.
It was beautiful. At that same time, we were just visiting with this other boat. And we going back to our boat. And we get back we're dinging back, and all of a sudden we see water shooting out one of the through holes.
I was like, no, water does not come out that through hole.
And we're like, what is going on? Why is it brown, nasty looking water? And I get on board and I look in the bilges, and there is a lot of water.
So when we came across from St. Martin, we had like the bashing night of sailing, and we got in and we knew we had water in the bilge, but we had assumed that it was because of the tanks, because we had just topped off the tanks like really well before we left.
Well, I noticed that
there was water in the bilge, but I was just like, again, assuming. I'm like, oh, I feel like we should check something else. Like maybe it's not just the water tanks.
I tasted
so then
it.
Justin tasted it.
It was salt water. And I'm like, salt water in the bilge is bad. Bad water. So very quickly, I am just searching around.
We pulled up all the floors and we started checking the through holes.
We were checking everything, and then we were like, oh, starboard. Hey, I need to look over here. And I was thinking, I knew we have a couple through holes that didn't look great. So I went and checked those, and sure enough, they were wiggly, which is bad. Through holes should be solid, not wiggly, not leaking water. It was sheared off, basically, at the fiberglass. So there's no stopping it. So once that was determined, we grabbed some wooden plugs, button plugs, and went outside and bashed the hole in a through hole, which interestingly enough made it worse. The wooden plugs, they swell up with water. So you just have to give it a little bit of time. It took a little bit, but after leaking a little bit, and the wood swelled up, and then it stopped.
Mind you, this is all when we're really tired.
After this big long passage.
A big overnight passage. And it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be able to sleep at night without feeling like we were going to drown in our sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't want to sink the boat. So that was a good temporary fix.
Oh, wait. And it wasn't just one. There were two.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There wasn't just one through hole. It was
two. Holes.
And these through holes are the drains for the kitchen sink and the washer machine.
It could have been a worse through hole. Like it could have been for the engine, or it could have been like... Yeah. That's like the worst one I can think of.
We got it to stop leaking that night. And then the next day, woke up and I found a spare through hole. Took our dinghy, filled it up with everything heavy, jerry cans, generator. The dinghy itself weighs like 350 pounds. Yeah. So I strapped the dinghy to the boom on the port side, and it heeled us over enough to where the through holes were basically at waterline. And so it had less water pressure, less water would be rushing in. And Isaac, he and I worked together and just really got it done. We swapped out. The wooden plug was in one hole, and I put a cap over that with some washers, and then screwed into that, so it basically sucked the wood plug in to inside the boat and sealed that whole thing up. Solid, done. The next one we had to actually swap the through hole. And
we had only one spare through hole.
Only had one spare, yep. And so he and I, we worked both from the inside and the outside, pulled off the old one, put the new one on. So this worked really, really well.
It was super janky looking. Everybody in the Anchorage mooring field was like, what are they doing?
Our boat looked really weird because, I mean,
why do
obviously
they have their generator hanging off of their boom on the side of their boat? It looked
so silly. It absolutely worked. And I would do everything exactly again, probably how we did it. It was honestly a godsend and felt very fortunate.
It was kind of a bummer because Les Saintes was beautiful. And
definitely one of our favorite spots.
We only stayed in Les Saintes for like 3 days.
2-3 days, yeah.
So we got in, we played for a little bit, we found the problem with the through holes, fixed that. They like melted off, essentially, the next morning before you'd plugged it, and then he went to check it in the morning, and it just like, he just touched it, and it just like fell off.
Yeah.
We were so lucky that didn't happen on passage. So we were in Les Saintes. We, last day we were there, we just went to the bakery in the morning.
Yep. And then we also went to
the fort.
Yeah, we went to the Fort Napoleon, and that was really beautiful. It reminded us a lot of St. Augustine in Florida.
With gardens.
But it had manicured gardens, really gorgeous. Cool cactus plants of all different kinds.
And then the fort itself, there's like a big house inside in the center of the fort, which is turned into a museum.
Yeah.
And so that was really neat. Just all the culture of the Caribbean and the area, that was really cool.
Then we had to sail to Dominica, basically that same day. But we got in just before dark.
We were going to leave earlier in the day with a lot of the other boats. We're leaving in the morning, and we were kind of feeling torn, like we didn't really get to enjoy Les Saintes as much as we wanted to, but we knew we needed to continue on, and we wanted to hang out with these other kid boats. And they left, and we're like, okay, we're gonna just try to do it in the morning.
We went into the Portsmouth Anchorage, and there's this group that stands for Portsmouth Association for the Yachting
Services.
Yeah.
They kind of started because there was a lot of theft going on in Dominica.
Yeah.
And they were trying to encourage the boaters to still come to Dominica. There are people out there who will come and steal the dinghy, or steal the outboard off the dinghy, or steal stuff off the deck. You have to like put stuff away, which is fine. And sometimes it escalates to more than that. And so our consultants have encouraged us to not go to places where we can't like leave the hatches open. The Pays group is good because what they do is they pay the fishermen to come out and help the boaters like find a spot to anchor or find a mooring ball. And then they also help with check-in. And then we did a tour of the island, which I'm really glad we did. It's amazing how different all of these Caribbean islands are. You go from one island and it's dry. Les Saintes was dry and deserty.
Yeah,
and then we get to Dominica and it's like lush jungle.
We also went to the market, which is kind of nice. When you get to these places, there's lots of just local markets, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, people selling their wares. But it's usually a lot of nice fresh fruits. And so that was good in Dominica.
Yeah, because in some places, there's just not a lot of it. Les Saintes had bakeries. Dominica had fresh fruit.
It was a very memorable week in Dominica and Les Saintes and all those places.
I mean, really, this week 58, Les Saintes was like the highlight.
Yeah.
And the through bowls.
Yeah, not sinking a boat was also a highlight, I would say. So it was nice.
Yeah, good job us.
Good job on us. See ya.